Beth Rigby is a well-known political journalist. She's asked some tough questions in her time, and she's known for not letting things go. However, in the interview with the Prime Minister yesterday, I feel she wasted her time on a needless point. She tries over and over to get him to say sorry.
We now know that the Conservative Party's economic experiment under Liz Truss blew an enormous £30 billion black hole in the public finances. This is, I think, like the modern Tory party's Black Wednesday. If you want to move on for this, don't you need to start by saying sorry to the British people about what's just passed?
On the steps of Downing Street when I first became Prime
Minister,
mistakes
were made.
I said mistakes were made, and I said part of the reason that I became Prime Minister was to fix them.
No one's apologised.
And what we have seen actually is much more stability in the UK's financial position. The legacy of COVID...
I'm going to interrupt there because there was also a UK-specific component, as you know, in terms of what happened. No one apologised. People can't pay their mortgages potentially. People are struggling with food bills. No one has taken responsibility. Will you now say to the British people, let them say, I'm sorry they messed up, I'm going to try and fix it. You said mistakes were made, but no one's really taken responsibility.
Beth, I think it's really important that people understand actually what's happened since I became Prime Minister and over the last few weeks is we've actually seen all those UK-specific are grappling with. Inflation right now is higher in Germany and in Italy.
It seems to me, if I may interrupt, it seems to me that you're more worried about hurting Liz Truss's feelings than you are about the country and people being quite rightly furious with the Conservative Party because of what has just come to pass. Do you acknowledge that at least?
I think I spent the summer talking about the challenges that our country faces.
Put this to bed though, can you just say you are sorry about what happened? I know it wasn't your doing, but you are now Prime Minister, you do lead the party, and it is the Tory party that did this.
And I've acknowledged from the steps of Downing Street in the first statement that I made to the country an acknowledgement that mistakes were made.
Okay, but you don't want to apologise, I get it.
What I want to do now is fix them.
But just to be clear, you don't want to say sorry to put people about their mortgages, can't sell their houses.
This puts me in a difficult position, because now I have to defend him. He wasn't the person that crashed the economy and tanked the pound. Yes, it was his party, but he actually warned against it.
Is to grip inflation. We cannot make it worse. Inflation is the enemy that makes everybody poorer. It erodes your savings. It erodes your living standards. It means that those of you that have mortgages will see your interest rates go up higher and higher. So I don't think the responsible thing to do right now is launch into some unfunded spree of borrowing and more debt. That will just make inflation worse. It will make the problem longer. Liz, we have to be honest. We have to be honest. But borrowing your way out of inflation isn't a plan. It's a fairy tale.
So why should he apologise for Liz Truss? He admitted mistakes were made and he'll try to clear them up. So what good would get him to say sorry actually do? He wasn't the Chancellor and he wasn't the Prime Minister. And if you're desperate for someone to say the words, I'm sorry, Liz Truss has already done it.
Now I recognise we have made mistakes. I'm sorry for those mistakes, but I've fixed the mistakes. I've appointed a new Chancellor.
Yes, she's right. We need to remember it's the Conservatives that inflicted the inflation on us, and it's going to cost us all more to fix their mess. But don't waste the interview on getting someone who is not directly involved to say sorry. It's just lazy. And Beth Rigby, please don't put me in this position again. This channel is to hold the government to account, not defend them. And speaking of which, let's rebalance the scales. This is Jeremy Hunt claiming Brexit hasn't made us poor. So go watch that now, videos on screen. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.